Hi, I'm State Senator Joe Markley from Southington. It's Monday evening. I'm up here at the Capitol to talk to you about something that happened late Saturday night, which was passage of the budget, or what really is in a two-year budget, corrections to the state budget. I wish I could call them corrections. The corrections would mean that there was an improvement. I think everything that was passed under the governor's initiative and under the governor's pressure was a mistake. And let me talk about a number of things. Forgive me if I jump around a little bit because it's hard to know how to go through this systematically. The first thing I'd say about the budget as it stands now is it creates an out-year deficit of nearly $3 billion. So that means in the next 2 fiscal years, we're looking at nearly a $3 billion deficit, almost exactly what Governor Malloy inherited back when he came into office 4 years ago, and which he's been complaining about for the whole 4 years, and which has been his excuse for everything he's done that we've objected to over that period. So we've had the largest tax increase in state history, and we've had 4 years of fiddling and fighting, and we find ourselves in exactly the same position we were to begin with. The second thing I'd say about it is, after having promised that the one thing he wasn't going to do was increase taxes, he has increased taxes. He's increased taxes by delaying the tax cuts which he had promised and which we passed. We had passed an elimination of the tax on over-the-counter drugs, tax in fact that was originally eliminated back when I was in the Senate in the 80s. The governor has pushed that elimination off a year, and he's also delayed the elimination of the sales tax on clothing under $50, another old Republican tax cut from the mid-80s. Incidentally, the credit that he was going to give teachers on their retirement account against the state income tax has also been delayed, so that none of these things will actually take place until after the next election. He's telling us that wonderful tax decreases are on our way, but none of them are going to happen for now. They're going to happen sometime down the road. He might as well not promise them, because we'll be back again before they take place. It also continues the gimmicks. Again, Governor Malloy has complained constantly about gimmicks that were used to balance the budget, but he has been a master with the gimmicks. He's been a master at moving expenditures out of the general fund. In this case, we've taken another $65 million in spending that has always been counted as general fund spending and put it into different accounts so that it no longer counts as a general fund, and it no longer counts when you look at the increase in state spending. The largest part of that is $31 million for immunization services, which were always paid out of the general fund, which will now be paid out of the insurance fund. But there's a number of them. And also in the world of gimmicks which are almost impossible to believe that someone can seriously propose, was the discovery on the day that we passed the budget that Revenue Services could expect to get another $75 million by enhanced tax collection techniques. We tried to find out what that means. It's impossible to say what it means. Whether that just means that they're going to come down harder on people. They're not hiring additional people to try to collect the money. There was no indication of what the program's going to be. They just said, we're going to find another $75 million. I don't think they will. They've also built in a number of lapses, which means they're counting on being able to take money out of existing programs without specifying what the programs are or how they're going to take it. And we take more money out of the Special Transportation Fund. For my friends that want a toll to fix the roads, remember this is what happens. We set up a fund that we say will be dedicated to transportation, and then repeatedly the legislature goes in and raids it. Against my objection, believe me. The total amount of raiding of that fund since Dan Malloy became governor is now about $300 million. Think of our transportation needs. Think of all the roads that need to be paved. Think of all the work that needs to be done on 84 between Southington and Waterbury, where the widening has to happen, the mix master with Route 8. Think about the next time you drive through a pothole that the legislature and Dan Malloy have stolen another $300 million out of the transportation fund. I would say overall on this that this has been 4 years of bad budgeting, but I think the final adjustments made this year, even though all that was necessary was to tweak the budget, the tweaks have been universally bad. And I think that the only answer is to go in a new direction. I hope we have leadership and a legislature next year which is prepared to really tackle the structural problems of spending, of too much spending that we have in this state, and to stop the constant demand for revenue, whether it's tax increases or borrowing, neither of which we can sustain. As I said, it's Monday evening. We will end Wednesday night at midnight, and at that point I'll be back with a final session report for you. Thanks very much. This is Joe Markley.